disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci weighed in on the timeline last night.
I said a couple of months ago, I think about a month and a half ago, that it would be about a year to a year and a half. It is possible to shave a couple of months off that, but you don't want to overpromise. We'll just have to see how it goes.
With me now is Dr. John Ervin. He is the medical director for the Center for Pharmaceutical Research and is one of just 2 clinical research sites selected for COVID-19 vaccine studies in the nation. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. I have so many questions. But first, you say, and you've worked on hundreds of vaccine trials, that this one is the most important trial we have ever done, and you've already started injecting it into healthy humans.
That's true. I think that there's nothing that we have ever dealt with like this pandemic, which therefore makes this by far, I think, the most important vaccine or trial of any type that we've ever done.
What are you finding in terms of, I know it's literally been just since April 7th that you have started this human trial in healthy people who volunteered. How's it going?
Well, as with most vaccines, we give our kids 10 vaccines their first year of life, and as a result, all the childhood illnesses that our generation grew up with, we've kind of wiped out. 8th grade girls are taller than I am, and every NBA team has a 7-footer, and so I think the vaccines have been tremendously effective. We haven't been successful 100%. We haven't been successful against AIDS. We haven't been successful against another infection called RSV. But we've wiped out smallpox, which killed more people than all the wars in history. We've wiped out polio, which was a devastating, crippling condition. We hope that we will be successful against this killer virus that we're dealing with right now. We have high hopes.
Good. I spoke to Melinda Gates last week, and the Gates Foundation is funding part of this effort, and I asked her specifically about this trial through Inovio, and she said that it is promising. That's her word. One thing that I find so interesting is that your trial does not actually include any live COVID-19 virus. So then how does it work?
Well, most vaccines that we do nowadays do not contain live viruses, but what they do is they have the DNA genetic code that is found on the cell wall of the virus, so that when we inject this into the human host, the immune system recognizes that DNA code and as a foreign object or foreign invader, develops antibodies against that DNA code. Therefore, when the real thing comes along, when the virus comes along with that same DNA code, we have antibodies that are able to neutralize that virus and basically then prevent the infection from occurring.
Let's talk about the unknowns here and some of the risks, because I know that there is something called disease enhancement, and that is where a patient's immune system actually can respond negatively to a vaccine. What do we know about that in this study?
Well, we don't know anything about anything in this study, and that's why we're doing the trial. So this is a theoretical consideration that I think that in the consent form is discussed. I've never seen this particular thing happen with any of the 100 vaccine trials that we do. The inflammation that is occurring as a result of the vaccine is the same inflammation that's fighting and killing off the virus. Potentially that inflammation could cause some problems with more inflammation of the lung tissue. But I think it's a theoretical consideration, one that we haven't seen in any of the 100 vaccine trials that we do.
Okay.
And I think as everybody's aware that vaccines are basically given to 10 of them to our children in their first year of life.
Yeah. So
I think this is a theoretical concern that I'm not too worried about.
I take my 4-year-old tomorrow for more vaccines. Final question is this. You mentioned at the top there are areas where we as a society just haven't been successful in terms of AIDS or RSV with vaccines. Do you have any question as to whether or not a successful foolproof vaccine can be created in the next year to 18 months for coronavirus?
It's a $100,000 question, $100 million question, is that will this virus be more like the smallpox virus and not change? Will it be more like the flu virus, where maybe every several years we have to consider a change, or will it be like the RSV virus and the AIDS virus that are constantly mutating, and therefore a vaccine will not be significantly effective? We certainly hope that we're dealing, like the other coronaviruses, with one that won't continue to change. We've had MERS and we've had SARS outbreaks that were similar viruses where where that wasn't the case. So, gosh, help us if this is one that is going to constantly change and we are unable to get a vaccine against.
Oh, we all
optimistic.
hope so. We know you are. We all hope so. Thank you to you and your entire team for this work. I'm so glad so far the signs are promising. Good luck, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Tonight.